Well, where do we find our favorite AEW ratings for this 4 hour extravaganza that seemed like it would never end? Did the people feel the same way, and were they jumping off the ship regularly as it approached the fucking dock?
Well, we have a bunch of quarter hours because of the.
16 quarters plus an overrun, right?
Well, let's do a Dynamite's overall number first. According to WrestleNomics, this is AEW Dynamite, June 4th, 2025, Wednesday night, 8 to 10:06 p.m. On average, 655,000 viewers.
So they got about 20,000 more than last week, but they're still calling Collision or Dynamite 8 o'clock to 10:06, even though it was just the same show. Didn't go off the air and come back on. They were just in the middle of the shit.
Well, AEW Collision on TBS, June 4th, 2025, 10:06 to 12:06. On average, watched by 380,000 viewers.
Okay. So 6:55 from 8 to 10:06, 10:06 to 12:00 whatever was 380,000. If they'd have gone from midnight to 2 a.m., I believe that they would have owed us viewers.
Well, let's actually find out a little bit more about these viewers. We have the quarter hour breakdowns. Again, these were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. The Tony Storm backstage promo. The Will Ospreay confrontation with Crew after his live promo. Mark Briscoe's backstage promo. And the start of Briscoe versus Jon Moxley. 803,000 viewers.
Oh boy. Okay. So they are back up to getting a halfway sizable lead in. And they're going to squander that by the course of this, by the evidence of this average number. They're going to lose precipitously viewers by the end of the show. But that was what, maybe 100,000 more than they started with last week.
Yeah, well up over the 90-day trend. Quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. Continuation of Briscoe versus Moxley with picture-in-picture. And a Mystico video. 669,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. Last week, they kept their audience. It even went up and down a little bit in the course of the program instead of steadily downward because they started with a smaller number. So they started with more of their base audience. This week, they're back to normal where they start with a big number. And I think last week, didn't we say they lost only 40 or 50,000 people in the first 15 minutes? This was 134,000. So we're back to somewhat normal.
Well, we go now to quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. An ad break. Mina Shirakawa and Tony Storm versus Julia Hart and Sky Blue with picture-in-picture. 604,000 viewers.
All right, they're going to have to come up by the end of somewhere by the end of the show, or elsewise I don't know how they're going to make their average. But we shall see.
We go now to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. The continuation of Mina and Tony, that's her name, versus Julia and Sky.
That's her name.
And the post-match with Mercedes Moné, the publisher of Monet Mag. The Will Ospreay MJF Hurt Syndicate backstage angle, an ad break, and the start of MVP's live promo. 726,000 viewers.
Good Lord. Well, I said they needed to go up, but I didn't know they were going to do that. So how would you even... That's 122,000 people. How would that many people suddenly find out, oh shit, Hurt Syndicate, MJF, we got to get over there? That's a lot of fucking people. And the last 15 minutes of the first quarter, so it's not like anybody's show they were watching ended. They were just waiting to see these guys show up.
I don't know. But that continues into the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m. The MJF Hurt Syndicate, Commander, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, live angle, and Jet and Speed. Jet, who's Jet? Oh, that's Kevin Knight, I guess. Jet and Speed and Commander versus La Facción Ingobernales, or something like that, with picture-in-picture, 670,000 viewers.
Yeah, once all the other stuff started cluttering it up, I think people gave up.
Well, we go now to quarter 6, 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. The continuation of Jet and Speed and Commander versus La Facción Ingobernales Ingober. So we're Ingobernale. I'm trying to actually pronounce this fucking thing.
La Fuckers and Goobers.
The post-match with the Hurt Syndicate, MJF, and then the Paragon Daniel Garcia backstage angle, followed by an ad break. 578,000 viewers.
Oh, wait, what? That's quarter 6, 578.
Yes.
So they went from 726 in quarter 4 to 670 in quarter 5 to 578 in quarter 6. So now they've lost 225,000 from the start of the program, and they lost 148,000 in 30 minutes. Okay.
Well, to be fair, too, I heard they did Infinity on Max. So let's go.
I heard it was actually Infinity plus 3 because they had 3 visitors from fucking Bolivia come in.
We now go. They must have been visiting Tony. We now go to quarter 7. Let's see if we can get the marching powder to continue on here with this. 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The Patriarchy's backstage angle, the Max Caster live promo, and then Powerhouse Hobbs versus Max Caster, and then an ad break. 564,000 viewers.
Ouch. Okay, there went another 14,000, and we're down now 239 from the start.
Well, now we go to, what is this, quarter 8? The big end of the show, usually. 9:45 to 10 p.m. I'm not even going to say overrun because it just keeps going. Kenny Omega versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Brody King versus Mascara Dorada with picture-in-picture. 623,000 viewers.
Boy, that's a gift. Gaining 59,000 at that particular point in the program.
Well, we now
now, like I said, there is no overrun because it's the first
right.
quarter of the next program.
That's right. Exactly. We go now to quarter 9, AEW Collision, 10 to 10:15 p.m., which actually Collision didn't start until like 10:06. Continuation of Omega versus Claudio versus Brody versus Dorada. The post-match with Okada. A recap, Ricochet backstage promo, and the start of Will Ospreay versus Lio Rush. 619,000 viewers.
Very comparable to quarter 8 on the previous program. So they held that there. And for them to start here and end up with their average of 380,000, we're headed south.
When we go to quarter 10, 10:15 to 10:30 p.m., the continuation of Ospreay versus Lio with picture-in-picture, the post-match with Action Andretti and Adam Page, and then the Death Riders have a confrontation with Ospreay and then more Adam Page. 531,000 viewers.
Ouch. There went another 88,000, and here we go.
Well, we now go to quarter 11, 10:30 to 10:45 p.m., the Don Callis family backstage promo, and the start of Atlantis Jr. and Templario versus FTR with picture-in-picture. 449,000 viewers.
Ouch. There went, Jesus, that's 82,000 more.
Well, that action continues into, what is this now? Quarter 12, 11 to 11:15 p.m. No, I'm wrong there. Where are we?
That'd be 10:45 to 11.
Quarter 12, 10:45.
Quarter 12.
Is that what it is? It's quarter 12, right?
Well, it's quarter 12, but it'd be quarter 4 in the new program.
Okay, it's quarter 12.
Yes.
Atlantis Jr. and Templario versus FTR continued. The post-match with Stokely Hathaway. An ad break. Heckel and the Don Callis family versus Bandito and the Outrunners. 418,000 viewers.
Yeah, now we're at 11 o'clock and they're like, fuck this. We got to get out of here.
We go to quarter 13, 11 to 11:15 p.m. The continuation of Heckel and the Callis family versus Bandito and the Outrunners with picture-in-picture. Megan Bain and Penelope Ford's confrontation with Anna Jay and Ty Conti. 367,000 viewers.
Good Lord. And we've still got the 3 quarters and an overrun to go. They're going to get down below 2, aren't they?
Where are we now? What number is this?
This is quarter 6 of the second show or quarter 14 of the combined effort.
11:15 to 11:30 p.m. An ad break. Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn backstage promo. And the start of Nick Wayne versus AR Fox versus Sammy Guevara versus Lee Johnson with picture-in-picture. 312,000 viewers.
And we got 30 minutes to go. 36, 11:30 to 12:06.
Oh, come on. There's main eventers to come. We go now to, where are we? 11:30 to 11:45. Nick Wayne versus, that match continued. The post-match with the Patriarchy and Ricochet. Lady Frost versus Tekla. And the post-match with Queen Aminata, followed by an ad break. 259,000 viewers.
Oh, geez. I didn't think they'd get that low for the fucking end, but okay. 259.
And for the night, that's that's not the low point. Technically, the last quarter would be, I was going to say in the key demo, 97,000. But we go now to 11:45 to 12 p.m. The Queen Aminata backstage promo and the start of Daniel Garcia and Paragon versus the Don Callis family with picture-in-picture. 255,000 viewers. 6-minute overrun. 12 to 12:06 a.m. Continuation of the aforementioned match. 243,000. 96,000 key demo.
I mean, obviously, prime time is 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. After 11 o'clock, the conventional and true wisdom in television is you're fighting sleep. So one would expect a drop, but the second show started at 619,000, and at 11 o'clock was at 367,000. So between 11 and 12, they lost 242,000 viewers. Between 11 and midnight, they only lost 124,000. So it was just people seeing an endless parade of multiple man matches with people that they didn't care about or hadn't ever heard of before. And it's just meaningless sound and motion at that point.